Hey there everyone, welcome back to another day of Animal Crossing. Welcome back, welcome back. I have been in the trenches, literal combat, which I'm going to be talking about. No, more verbal combat with Genshin Impact players. But anyway, we're back here. So that's what today's episode is going to be about. No news to share today, but it does look murky outside, so hopefully it is snowing. For what it's worth. But I hope you guys are doing fine. I hope everything's going well with you. I haven't streamed in a bit again. I want to start streaming again, but I finished all my setup. I finished everything regarding it. So I'm all good. We need the camera here because for some reason the camera wouldn't work. And just pretty much, I think it's called the I/O, if I'm not mistaken. The I/O has different types of USBs, and this camera needed a specific USB to work, right? But anyway, yeah, so yesterday I ended up talking about Genshin Impact, which is a game that I very much love. I enjoy it. I really, really like it, right? I don't hate it, or anything along those lines. Yesterday, Miyoho came out, literally an hour after I posted that video. They offered an apology, told us they're going to fix one of Zhongli's constellations, which means if you pull a 5-star 3 times, you get that specific constellation. Right? One of his buffs, they're gonna fix one of his buffs that you get for pulling him multiple times. And they were going to, what else were they gonna do? Compensate us for 100 Primo Gems, and then they also told us how to play Zhongli and the design philosophy amongst Zhongli, and that we shouldn't be treating them as a DPS, right? Miyoho came out. Miyoho is a Chinese company, right? I will say, to preface everything prior to this, Miyoho, as of last night, they were doing some wonderful propaganda on the Reddit, which is where a majority of this stuff kind of talks about. You know, you don't really get too much from the Miyoho forums because you get censored. You'll get censored and you'll get timed out, and your post will be deleted because it's, you know, it gets marked as a, God, what was the fucking word someone used? Someone used the word, it gets marked as something else. But it is. So pretty much, to put it really, really short, because I talked about it for like 14 minutes yesterday, because this is just like the company addressing it. To put it really, really short, is that Zhongli is a 5-star that came out. He is the Geo Archon, which means he's the Geo God of the world, the element Geo Earth, right? He came out and he was lackluster. He has a very beautiful attack string that is very, very pretty, probably the prettiest we've seen out of any character. He'll kick his spear. The spear spins. He has a really cool charge attack that does a lot of damage, actually. But he does less damage than a on his normal attack damage. His NAD, I'll call it that, normal attack damage. His NAD, it does less than a 4-star character, right? And when you have a 5-star, you're like, okay, all right. His E, he brings up a pillar and it resonates and it pulses every like second and a half, and it deals geo damage, and it scales off your geo, and it scales off your attack, if I'm not mistaken. I'm currently, you know, at like 74% geo damage with a decent, with 1.4k in an attack. The damage of that pillar does 50. It does 500 damage. And I will tell you that a boar, if it does hit you at world level 6, it deals 600 damage. And so his pillar that resonates with geo energy only does 500 damage, 550. It'll do a little bit more if it hits if there's like a elemental reaction, if there's a crystallization reaction, which just depends on what the type of build you're doing, whatever it may be. His E's just supposed to get energy, right? And then his Q, it brings down a giant fuck-off meteor, which is amazing, which is one of the reasons why people got him. And it petrifies the enemies, meaning they stand still for 3 minutes, 3 seconds, and then they break, right? It takes like a second and a half, if not 2 seconds, for the ability to stop being shown on the screen. So you only have like a second and a half to be able to do anything too. And that's like non-leveled up, everything along those lines, right? So his meteor attack is perfect. The only thing wrong with it is the petrification is very short, and you can't cancel out the animation, and the animation eats up a second or two of the time of it being petrified, which means you only have like a second or two of someone being petrified. You can level it up to be to 4 seconds, right? Which is laughable, right? You're spending all this money just to be able to make it go to 4 seconds in game. It's not very good. I think it should be 5 seconds, personally. But hey, whatever. And people are unhappy. They said, like, hey, put HP on him. He's for survivability. He's for X, Y, and Z. But yet they make his, like, ultimate attack do, like, a shit ton of fucking damage. Like, a lot. Like, if you get it all the way, if you level up your talent, which makes the scaling of it go up, like, you could do a shit ton of fucking damage if you build him right. And we also found out that HP scaling isn't what he wants. He wants attack scaling to do more damage. And it's, I don't know, he's a character who's just like a walking contradiction. And like, let's see, I must say, I'm gonna call you that. Yeah, keep calling me that. I'm fine with that, Whitney. Go for it. So yeah, just pretty much it. Yeah, 5-star character comes out. He's weak. They showed him off as a DPS character, and people are mad that he is not DPS, and he does very little damage, and he's very, upsetting. And then Miyoho came out, said, "You're playing him wrong. He is a tank. He's not supposed to do a lot of damage, but don't look at his Q ability that people are doing 70k with, right? Don't look at that. That doesn't count." He's supposed to make your team survive longer with his shield, and in endgame you get like 4 to 5 hits if you max out his HP the correct way, right? Where he has no attack at all, which means he does barely any damage, right? He'll do like level 20 damage, and yeah. So things have been kind of fucked up with that. I replied to a tweet, and I had just arguing with people in like DMs and shit regarding it, of being called stupid, and that talents scale with the character, and then I have to learn how to use talents. And I'm like, bro, I'm not saying like buff his abilities so his fucking pillar does 5k damage every single click. I was like, it just needs to do more, right? And they're like, you don't know how to build your character. I'm like, oh my god. It's just pretty much being told I was fucking stupid, and this is my first ever gacha game, right? And I should expect this, right? And Miyoho shouldn't change anything, even if people are upset. I'm fine with him being a support character. He just needs to, for a 5-star, he needs to do 5-star damage with it, right? He needs to do the 5-star support damage, and this support damage is a 4-star. Even supports are doing crazy more damage than him regarding to the skills that he will be using all the time, right? His Q can be spammed. That meteor can be spammed. Every 12 seconds, if you build your team right, you could do it again, do it again, do it again. And depending on how you build him, I have him on a weird attack HP mixed build, and he does 27k if he's buffed correctly, right? And that means I can do it 12k, 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 but that's like, that's also with elemental reactions, and that's also with doing everything correctly, which is what you want in a game, so there's nothing really wrong with that. Like, it's just the game mechanics, right? Instead of just unga boonging it, as people are saying. It's like, oh, you just want to unga boonga with this spear, and that's it. That's all you want to do. You don't want to play the game. You don't want to do elemental reactions. Like, that's not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying. I just want his abilities to be buffed. That's it. His Q's perfect. The damage on it is perfect. I just want the petrification to be increased by a half second or another second, or enough seconds to be, I don't think it should be 2. I don't think it should be 3. I think it should be a second, and I think that'll be absolutely perfect. And it was just arguing all day yesterday. It was wonderful. People championing Miyoho for this. A lot of people are upset, so much so they had to talk about it, and they're censoring the forums. Any talk about it is just being like completely like thrown under the rug. Public opinion of them has fallen down a lot because of this. And how do I say this? Another big thing is that they are... So Miyoho is a Chinese company, right? And you're like, why does that matter? Well, China, they... like, propaganda and spinning things and doing all that, that's, like, ingrained into their culture, as you can tell from their government, right? The companies also do this. They'll post on their forums, they'll pretend to be a guy with a wholesome story. Yesterday on Reddit, they did it to the English one, and the Chinese Redditors, the Chinese Bedo, I think they're called. Bedo is the website or something like that. Ended up debunking the person, what they're saying is, like, this is propaganda, this is, like, them trying to make, like, it was like a fluff piece on Miyoho and how, like, they're such a kind and charitable company, and that they, you know, they're like underdogs and they look out for the players more than other people, and like it's so weird. Like it was just pretty much like this fluff piece about Miyoho that this person wrote, pretending to be someone who can speak English and Chinese, and trying to manipulate the English community, because the English community has never seen anything like this, and they just get fucked over. Right? The most we see that with is with politics and shit in the news. We don't get it within our entertainment like that. And people fucking ate it up, and I read it. I was like, this is bullshit. This person's like posting pictures, sappy. Don't be mad at Miyoho. They'll be able to figure this out. Don't worry. And I'm like, what the fuck is this? Like, what is this? Right? You could initially just say is like, oh, you're upset because it's going against what you're like, what you want. Like, I pulled Zhongli. I've been playing as Zhongli since he came out day one. I pulled him day one. I built him up. I saved everything for him to build up. I have artifacts on him right now. They're not perfect. The crit damage is not there. I can definitely tell you that. Crit damage is not there in my artifacts at all. Barely there, but he's able to do that decent amount of damage with his Q, because I buff him, and I get the Geo buff from Ningguang and everything related to that. Do I think he should be doing that damage normally? No. Like big damage, like the 70k, whatever it is, but he should be doing decent damage, and he is. If you like, the Q is fine. Q is fine. E and his attack string are the thing that's wrong. Everything wrong with it, and we have these fucking guys being hired by Miyoho to try to spin things, and telling us to be happy and that you've never played a gacha game, and there are support characters and there are DPS characters. Of course, he's not as strong as Diluc, because Diluc is the best DPS in the game. He also has the best abilities. It's like, what'd you expect? He's also Geo. You should have expected it. Like, it's like pretty much everyone's upsetness is they expected Zhongli to be a person who defines what the Geo is. And when it comes to a game that is constantly pushing DPS beyond reason, he has the survivability, which he does it decently. It depends. Like, the Abyss Mage will just strip your shield. Like, you'll survive like a hit or two, but I don't expect to survive like 20 minutes with that one shield that he generates, right? So I don't know, man. It's weird. I don't think as a consumer you should just take what is given to you and enjoy it. You know, as a company that does as a company that does gacha, they should know for a fact that people will be happy and unhappy. They're paying money. Technically, if you want to talk about it financially wise, he is a $300 character, which you have to spend $300 if you want to pull him, right? So if there's something wrong, there's something wrong. This isn't like, this isn't people like saying like buff Amber, or like this is people aren't happy with the 5-star. It's just pretty much it. People aren't happy with the 5-star, and I think his E should be buffed. I think people will be perfectly fine with it, because particle generation with his E is weird and not consistent. And if you have Constellation 1, you get a second pillar that resonates twice, so you get double the damage somewhat, and it's not anything. Yeah, man, it's just fucking, it's annoying. I don't like it. I don't like seeing it. I don't like seeing people just completely make an excuse for a fucking billion-dollar company. At all, definitely as a consumer. It's just not something I like seeing. There's a lot of things in the game that needs to be fixed. The resin system, there's a lot of quality of life updates that are out. The game is 3 months old currently right now. The game is 3 months old. They made all their money back from development on the 2nd week, right? So everything else is just a plus. Everything they're doing is a plus. Plus, 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 plus. What was it? What? Okay. But yeah, another episode about Genshin Impact. I know, it's fucking weird to me, something to talk about, but, you know, talking about it is what I usually do. So, I don't know, I like the game, I'm gonna play every day, right? Until the game, like, totally fucks me off, right? Zhongli is just in his support role. I just feel like his support role can be improved. That's just pretty much it, right? He has a shield, in co-op, he'll make a shield, he does so little damage and so, like, little, like with his other abilities, right? When he doesn't have his special up, which you have to build up to also. When he doesn't have that, he is pretty much useless, right? You know, we have a support named Barbara. She heals. Everything she does, she heals. She heals like fucking crazy, right? All her abilities are just healing. They're not combat in any type of way other than her charge attack, which is amazing and beautiful, right? She's fine. We understand she's a healer, so she's not gonna do a lot. But I don't know, man. We're pretty much sold a lie with Zhongli, and that's why people are upset. There's so many reasons why people are upset. Whatever it may be. You know, the gacha veterans are like, oh, do you expect a 5-star to be meta-changing? Like, do you want it to be meta-changing? Like, it's so weird, people talking, the way they talk about it and just completely dismiss everyone's opinions and dismiss what's wrong with it. And I see people who don't have Zhongli talking shit about this. I was like, this kind of guy. You should see, like, you'll be able to see the numbers. Have you played as him? Have you, like, worked out how to play with him? Like, I've been trying to make him good, and only until, like, this recently, he has been decent for me. He has been a net negative for my team ever since I got him, up until recently. You know, I have a Petra and the Noblest Oblige set. Hopefully give me the geo damage and give me the burst damage. And I'm just going to build him as someone, I'm going to build him like Venti. Just pretty much it. I'm building him like Venti. So I have 2 Ventis on my team. Anyway, I'm done. Have a wonderful day, everyone. Jesus, fuck.